Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So I'm going to have a look at what's going on with the Oasys blockchain. Just looking at the token here, but we're going to flick between the Oasys hub and a little bit about the token. So Oasys is the gaming blockchain out of Japan, as in the main sort of people behind it. The main companies behind it are Japanese, although it's sort of gained sort of larger support from sort of Asia as well, and some Western companies as well, as we'll see. So there's no games live yet, but they have, I think it's about sort of 20 that are sort of announced, and they hope to have sort of 100 at the end by the end of the year. So there's sort of quite a lot going on here, and I just thought it's interesting this sort of staking thing has happened. So just to sort of point out, Oasys is its own what we call L1 blockchain. So it is a separate blockchain. It's not like Ethereum or Polygon or any of these other Solana blockchains. It is its own blockchain. It has this sort of actually interesting situation where it has it's a little bit like Avalanche, I would say, that it has a sort of core L1, and then it has these L2s where individual products or groups of products can run on these scaling solutions, but the whole security is held by the L1, which is sort of this verse structure. So if we let's see if we can click on this. So if we go to the verses, there are these different verses. So there are 5 at the moment. So we have the MCH verse. So this is the My Crypto Heroes verse. We have the TCG verse, the trading card game verse, and there's various games in there. And so basically it acts like it is a blockchain sort of infrastructure, as well as being a sort of a publishing model as well. But the thing we're looking at today is staking. So we can see here, these are the tokens. So how many have we got here? 2.8 billion of these tokens are staked. We can look here, and there's 10 billion tokens in total. So I'm not quite sure how many are released yet. Haven't got that data. But what people are doing, this is a sort of proof of stake blockchain, as most things are these days. And what you can do with these tokens, there are 21 validators, so 21 organizations are involved with making sure this blockchain works properly. It runs epochs, so there's sort of 6 hours. I'm not quite sure how long these are, if they're daily. I think they're a bit quicker than daily, actually. But anyway, so there's an epoch, which is when these things basically sort of like an idea of the blocks happen every few seconds, and then epoch is a sort of larger, longer period of time. But anyway, we can have these different validators, and there's a whole bunch. So some of these game companies will be companies you will have heard of. So WeMade is a big South Korean company, and it's got its own WeMix. Actually, it's got its own blockchain called WeMix, but they're using some of their computers to run a node for Oasys. Netmarble, another big South Korean company. Yield Guild Gaming, one of the big guilds. Square Enix, obviously well known in Japan. Neowitz is South Korean. These guys are South Korean. Namco. Bandai Namco Research, obviously the research part of Bandai Namco, pretty massive in Japan. Gummies, pretty big free-to-play mobile games company. Sega, don't need to explain who they are. Third Verse are also a Japanese game developer, VR and Web3. Come to us, big South Korean company. Double Jump Tokyo is the company sort of behind all this. So they did a game called My Crypto Heroes, which is this now a separate company. And they sort of that's how Oasys sort of came about. They were running it on Ethereum, then they moved to Polygon, and now they sort of create their own blockchain. Ubisoft Strategic Labs, they're doing some stuff. Obviously, they're quite into Web3, and also Mythical Games, which has its own blockchain. So a whole bunch of these sort of companies, and if you get the tokens, you can go and stake them. So we'll do that in a minute. First, let's have a look. It's not that easy to get the tokens. So if we look here, this is just the rise of the token. So it's actually done sort of, it launched at the sort of a good time. It launched in December. Actually, the price has gone up fairly decently. Obviously, goes up and down. Not investment advice. If we look at the, so these are the exchanges where you can get the Oasys token. They're not the easiest ones. So a lot of sort of Southeast Asian exchanges, Gate, KuCoin, OK, X, Mex. Hubi. So these are sort of fairly well known exchanges, and that's where if you want to get the Oasys token, those are the only places where it's available. There's not like a massive amount of trading going on here, so the depth, you can see is not the depth and the volume is not millions. Does it give me a volume here? Yeah, so like just $1.2 million worth of trading volume, and fully diluted. That means if all the tokens were out there, it would be worth just under 1 billion. So still sort of early days for Oasys. But that's how you get the tokens. Interestingly, you can the tokens you can use MetaMask to interact with the blockchain. It's EVM compatible, so you can do that. So that's sort of you can buy them on the exchange, but to stake them, you have to get them into a wallet that can interact with their staking contracts. And at the moment, the only one supported is MetaMask. I'm sure other ones will come along. So anyway, I've got some tokens, not a vast amount really, and we can see here I can do some staking. So this sort of gives us a sort of rough guide. So roughly, if we stake these, we get sort of 10% return in terms of the tokens. So that's you also be a little bit careful if it's like 1,000%, then it's probably not very stable. So 10% sort of seems roughly sort of reasonable. And obviously, what we're doing here is the more tokens are staked within these validators, the fewer there are to be traded. So sort of the idea is the more that's locked in, the price goes up. And also you need the tokens to be staked into the validators to make sure the validators are incentivized to do the right things. The other thing to look at here is we see some of these details. So if we look at Mythical Games here, it says how much is staked, performance, where these guys are based, and commission. So if you're staking, as far as I can see with everyone, it seems to be set at the moment that all these validators take 10% commission. So of the staking rewards that they're getting through these stake tokens, they're taking 10%. So obviously you're getting 90% of your rewards. It is interesting that there is this option of campaigns, so it doesn't look like many of them. In fact, only one of them, 2 of them. So Double Jump and MCH, which are sort of the same company really, they have a campaign here, so you can win if you stake here. Actually, this is an old one. If you stake, you can get on a free-to-own list for you can basically get rewarded with some extra tokens or some Genesis NFTs. And this one is. Okay, this is for the MCH verse. You can you can double the amount of rewards. You get voting power in this sort of versus situation, and there will be some airdrops as well. I'm not quite sure if these things are still running. I have to go and look up. But basically, if validators can sort of encourage people to lock up their tokens with them, either by campaigns or changing the commission. So you imagine at some point someone could say, well, we're going to drop the commission to 5% or something like that. I mean, the problem with that is you end up in a bidding war, so it goes down to 0. Let's do some staking. Let's go for Square Enix. So if I go here, I'm going to go into the staking option. So I've not got, how many have I got? Like 500 coins. So that's something that's, I don't really, less than $100. So I'm going to max that. And go through the staking. So this is, I'm going to go through this through the MetaMask to interact with the Oasys blockchain, and then we'll get those staked, and then see where we are. Okay, so that seemed to have gone through successfully. Now let's see what it looks like if I go to staked only. So this should just show my one. So there we go. My stake. So actually, yeah, I did the check. So basically, it's about $50 worth of tokens. So not really very economic, but just an experiment. You should always experiment first before you do anything else. And we can see the details here. So my stake. What are we going to get? Anything. So I can't. There's nothing to claim yet. And I think. So what does it say here? So unstaking takes 10 days. Please check withdrawal for status of unstaked token. So as often happens in these systems, you can't just unstake it and take it out straight away. You have to leave a period of time. Obviously, that creates a bit of friction. Obviously, there's the infrastructure thing. If everyone can sort of remove all the tokens all at once, that creates a potentially a bit of a problem. Claim. Nothing to claim yet. I think the other thing I was going to check. I don't think it was going to show it. So obviously over time, I'll start to build up a very small amount of these Oasys tokens as a sort of as the sort of reward for staking. But that relies on the epoch. So I won't be able to. There'll be nothing to claim for 7 hours pretty much. And even then, obviously, it'd be a very small amount. And even obviously, for a year, I would get 50 tokens. So it's going to for a day, I'm going to get a fraction of 0.2 or something. This is just to check how it works, and this is not really you don't really make money by validating stuff. But I think it is sort of, it is part of the blockchain ethos that if you're sort of part of an ecosystem, if you like games that one idea is that the community should be part of the overall ecosystem, and that means making the system more secure by staking tokens. And obviously the other thing is that over time the validators will start to, you get different validators potentially. At the moment I think it's sort of, there's only 21, there could be more, and you could have these ideas where the top 21 validators out of a set of 50 or something are chosen, so those validators are sort of have a competition to be in that 21 and offer the best sort of campaigns and rewards to people to get them to stake with them, and all that sort of market game theory stuff sort of kicks in. This is in the very early stages for Oasys. As I say, the mainnet only launched a couple of months ago now, so very very early stages yet. But we'll see what happens. I always think it's interesting to investigate what is happening. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll keep an eye on what's going on with Oasys. So subscribe to the channel, and see you again next time.